friends, attorney Marina Shepelsky. I practice immigration and family law in New York and New Jersey, and immigration law everywhere in the United States. And because of that, and because I talk a lot about VAWA, I get a lot of VAWA cases. What's VAWA? VAWA stands for Violence Against Women Act. It's a special law that was passed by Congress and supported by President Biden, who at the time was a senator from the state of Delaware, and said that people, not just women, but men too, can file for a green card on their own without their abusive spouse if they're married to a U.S. citizen and are in a bad marriage with a U.S. citizen. They're being abused. Is VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, cases just for women? No, absolutely not. Men can successfully file for VAWA too. If you're interested in these kinds of videos and you want to get more information about immigration, I ask you to subscribe to our channel, press the little bell below, and there will be other videos just like this. This one is just beginning. Today I want to talk about how to file for VAWA for men, the differences between cases for men and women, what are the things that men should be looking out for, and if you're interested generally in the topic of how to prepare a VAWA case, then follow the link above and you can see about the process generally. But for now, today we're talking about men and VAWA. So first of all, the obvious difference is that a man filing for VAWA has to prove abuse by their U.S. citizen woman spouse most of the time. However, of course, now that the same gender marriages are recognized by USCIS, if it's a two men in a relationship and they're married, it's just as good. And as long as we can show abuse by the other spouse, it really doesn't matter if the abuser was a man or woman. If you're married to have a family and you have joint documents to prove that you're married for love and to create a family together, and you were abused by your spouse, it doesn't mean just physically, although a lot of these cases have women hitting men physically, slapping them, hitting them, shoving them, pushing them, controlling them, like violating them, manipulating them, controlling every move, isolating the man from his family, from his children, from prior relationship and prior marriages, controlling the money, constantly telling him that he's no good, he's worth nothing, he's nothing without her, she is the U.S. citizen, he is nothing, he is less than nothing. Men who are in those relationships have as many rights, as much rights as women do to file for VAWA relief.
You've got to stand up for yourself.
I recently had somebody from the state of California contacted me because he saw my TikTok. I also make TikTok videos about VAWA, and he asked me about his situation. He didn't think that he could file, but since I mention men and VAWA in a lot of my TikToks and other videos, he thought, let me find out one more time, maybe I'll hear yes. And he heard a yes from me. So here's somebody who was married to a U.S. citizen. They live in San Francisco and California. She had some mental issues with him from the beginning. Maybe the first few months of the marriage were good. And I see this in a lot of our cases for VAWA, men and women. The first few months when people are dating, and maybe even when they just get married, things are good. But when you start to live with someone and you get to know them on an everyday basis and you wake up next to them every day and you are living with them through good times and bad, the real person comes out. And because of the inequality in immigration status, so this man from California was telling me that his wife yells at him, belittles him, constantly threatens him with deporting him. She's in charge of his life. She's going to tell immigration on him. She's going to annul the marriage. She's going to tell them it was all fraud, even though they live together. And, they have a household together. And they have bills in two names. And they have tax returns already filed for 2 years in two names. He's bringing money in the family. He's a driver, so he's able to make money that way. And he's bringing money in the household. She's still calling him names. She demands to be supported by him. She demands to be treated well, but she doesn't treat him well. And he asked me if he can file for VAWA, and the answer is yes.
Yes, you can.
Now, here's some advice that I did give him. I said, look, to file for VAWA, you have to prove you were abused. Do you have any arrest records that she got arrested for abusing you? Do you have anything like that? Do you have a court order, family of protection, court order, restraining order, or something like that? He said no. I said, fine, but you have to see a psychologist because we have to show you were abused. We have to show you're not making this up, that you are complaining about this abuse, that it's not just something that's in your head or maybe you're even making up. So he began to document the things that she did to him. He went to a psychologist. The next time that she was nasty to him and threatened him, he went to the police. He reported to the police that she stole things from him when she left. And he finally took, it took bravery for him, but he finally took the first step and filed for an order of protection and divorce. And the divorce I suggested, as I usually do in VAWA cases, is cruel treatment as a ground, as a reason of divorce. Basically, you're asking the court to give you a divorce based on you being abused by the woman who is the U.S. citizen spouse. You're married to an abuser, she's a woman, and she abused you, and you're filing for divorce based on that. Not anything of this is necessary or mandatory. There's no rule that says for VAWA cases you have to have a police report, you have to have a complaint to the police, the order of protection. None of this is mandatory. But if you have it, especially if things are happening in your family life that deserve these things, that are being criminal, that deserve to have you being protected by an order of protection, you're not making it up and it's really happening to you in real time, why not do it? It's going to help you tremendously. People tell me all the time, I'm afraid to go home, I have nowhere to stay. I say, look, if you go to a homeless shelter, I know it's not easy, but at least it's you standing up for yourself and saying, I don't feel safe to go to my wife and get beat up.
This is a very difficult time.
A lot of men are afraid of getting arrested themselves. So the woman would be attacking them and hitting them and slapping them and so on. They're afraid to even put their hands up to protect themselves because they're afraid the police will arrest them. The man is going to get arrested. Even though the woman is the attacker, the men are afraid of getting arrested. The men are afraid of getting in trouble, especially if they don't have immigrant status. So this exists. Partner on partner crime is pretty much gender neutral. Women abuse men just like men abuse women. So if you are a man and you are in a real marriage and you have documents to prove it, you have joint bills, joint tax returns, joint car insurance, you have a lot of pictures, you'll be able to get witness letters from people to say you were in a real marriage, you didn't marry for a green card, to a U.S. citizen or even a green card holder. Or even if you're recently divorced, less than 2 years ago you were divorced and the divorce was triggered by this abuse, you can file for VAWA even if you're a man and we can help. Take care and remember, you only have one life. This is not a practice run. There's going to be no do-over for your life. This is it. No one deserves to be beat up. No one deserves to be abused even if you're not being beat up. No one deserves to be manipulated, humiliated, put down, and stay in unhealthy, destructive, toxic marriages, even for papers, even for a green card. We can help you get a green card. We can help you get a work permit while you're waiting for your VAWA to be approved. You're not alone. There's a lot of other men out there for you if you're a man and you're watching this. We can help you get your green card and VAWA approved. Take care of yourself. And see you in the next video. Stay tuned and sign up to our channel.